gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the X Fan Show. I am one of your hosts, Dirty Arlington. I don't know where he's at, but I figured we'd start a little early because, Dirty is, I'm kind of on, kind of got the next couple days off, so I figured we'd start a little bit early here. Like I said, week 8 is upon us. It looks like everything is going to be exciting. The complete chaos. Hello, Leo. The complete chaos is here. This isn't going to be a very long show today. So, if you'd like to kind of jump in and chime in real quick, here's the link. You guys can do it. But it looks like some very interesting and exciting things could be happening here in the next couple of days. Not important at all. You're right, Leo. It does not look like it might be important at all, but it kind of is an important weekend. What is up, Andrew? A lot of things could happen right here. Teams that still control their destiny. You have the Battlehawks and the Vipers playing. The way the Vipers are playing, I don't know. I mean, do we think the Vipers could even win a game? The way they're playing? I mean, yeah, they did. Okay, look, unfortunately, if you're a Brahmas fan, they did beat the Brahmas, but we've seen in other games, they haven't played very well in other games. So that is the question. How are they going to do it? I'm going to say Battlehawks are going to win this game. The way the Battlehawks are playing is just unreal. They're playing very, very well and doing very, very good. You're right, Mayor. Wheel of Fortune, spin the wheel and see which quarterback is on what team this week. As you've noticed, the arms race is on for I'm even going to call it the arms race. The player race is on. Where are players going to line up? Where are they going to end up in that? I mean, look, you got practice. Paxton Lynch just signs with the Brahmas. Philip Lindsay with Seattle. Ooh, wow. You got – so it's very interesting to see how this is all going to play out. And, and me and Arlington actually have been talking about this is on the show after the season, we're going to talk about the players that were actually drafted and assigned to their team and where they at. Leo, I get it. I get that you were kidding. It is a crucial weekend, but but they look a lot better with McGlennon and stuff. Here we go. We got Jarrett from Orlando is going to join me. What's up, Jarrett?
Am I moving around? Oh, am I?
Oh, no.
No,
you're good, bro. It ain't going to be a very long show. So,
okay.
So we're at maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes. That's why I kind of started early. But, I mean, Jarrett, as you heard, I'm leading off to, right?
Yeah.
Andrew goes, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not going to jinx it. Don't need McCarron having a fall-off game. Hey, listen, they are playing the Vipers. I don't see that happening. Maybe week 9. Maybe McCarron having a fall-off game. But your boy, Paxton Lynch, You know, you love Paxton Lynch. You've been a huge Paxton Lynch supporter.
He had some spots of throwing the ball all right. I think it just takes him a little bit too long for him to get it off to the receiver, and he took like 12 sacks or something. This past, he led in sacks as a QB or whatever. So I was joking about him being traded to another team. I said, please take him from us. And
well, look, the Brahmas.
True.
The Brahmas got him. I mean, right here, McGlinnan.
McClendon. I haven't seen him. Yeah.
So, I mean, let's look at it's a very interesting week. Philip Lindsay went to the Sea Dragons.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge pickup. I mean,
that makes the Sea Dragons right now looks like, in my opinion, one of the best teams.
Well, yeah, and the guy before for the Sea Dragons, he was doing pretty good. He kind of fell off at the end, Morgan Ellison, and he was killing it a few games. So it's too bad he's out. But there was 4 QBs on the Guardians roster, which was way too many. I'm just like, what the heck? So yeah, they got to give them to to another team that can take them or whatever.
And here's the thing in the South. The South is still wide open. Anybody could win this. You have, you got Luis Perez going in Arlington, right? We don't know if he's a starter, but he's there.
Gosh, Plitt wasn't that great, in my opinion, at all.
Right, but you got him going up against the Guardians, and Dormady, your guy, in the last 2 games has just been tearing it up and just like
came out of nowhere. Like, I didn't expect this because he had a chance, I think, like week 2 or something like that. He had a chance before he got these false allegations came about, but now he's exploding. I think I was just thinking to myself, like, he's got he's got a huge focus, I think, and now he's pissed or something. And he's throwing it. He's you said 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 passing touchdowns in one game. That's among the best performances this year, which is crazy. The wide receiving core, like I said, this before the season started, they're nothing to shake. Don't get they're underrated. Cody Latimer is a Super Bowl champion wide receiver with the Broncos, and he's a tight end supposedly, but he takes.
And look, I had talked about it on
Rambo too.
Yeah, I talked about with Latimer and Rambo in the last 2 games. They weren't even nowhere near. No, Lindsay was not available in the draft, and from my sources, what I heard is that when Lindsay was originally sure, when the draft was happening, some of these players were wanting too much money. Lindsay was wanting too much money, and now, listen, Andrew, you're talking. I mean, once the season's over, right? You only have a few more weeks to OTAs for NFL, right? So why wouldn't get some tape on you?
This is a gateway, and this is a path. I didn't expect that. Like, this could be a new way to get yourself back into the NFL quick.
Exactly, Jared. I'm glad that you said that because it really is true that this could actually happen, and Lindsay could get picked up by somebody. You're right. You're right, good doctor. He was literally making close to $100 million there in there. But now look, you're out of the NFL, right?
Yeah. Running backs don't last too Long in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. He was a Pro Bowler, and they got rid of him, just like Vic Beasley. He was all pro. Why are these players not staying around long term, even though they were all pro and first team? It's like, that's insane. So
exactly. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this works out with these next few weeks. Hey, Lynch hasn't been the answer. It's not the answer, and pretty sure won't be the answer, but I'm hoping to prove me wrong.
Yeah. Hey, the Brahmas can only help. The Brahmas can only hope. I didn't expect them to be 2-5. I was expecting them with a better record this season.
Like right here, watch out for Cam Newton. LOL, just joking. Really?
Yeah. I mean, if he's desperate enough, and this XFL's nationally, is on ABC and ESPN and stuff. It's good exposure. It might not be Cam Newton. He's got all the money in the world, and he's been in the Super Bowl, and I think his days are by. He likes podcasting.
But think about this. In my opinion, the XFL would be perfect for Cam Newton and the way that he plays.
I'm all for it. I mean, that's where we get kind of torn is, do we want to build the stars or do we want the stars come in, from the formerly of the NFL to come in? I don't mind a mixture of both. As long as you give the other quarterbacks a chance over time, that's good. That's fine with me.
Right. Yeah. Like right here, Lindsey was a victim of change in the offensive philosophy of Denver.
No.
I mean, listen, in the 2 years that he actually did, and he actually started, the dude had over 2,000 yards.
Yeah, he wanted more money, and the Broncos didn't want to give him the money, and he went to Houston, and the Bronco fans, as myself included, we loved him. He played with hunger, and after he gets the carry, he talks a lot of smack talk to the opposing defensive players, and he has a fight with when he runs. So so it was we loved him in Denver, and it was a shame that he had to go. Wade Phillips as well, as when he was defensive coordinator, he left, and we wanted him to stay, but he wanted more money. He went to LA Rams. So
right, yeah. I mean, like right here, Ball Hawk 1. If you guys know who this is Ball Hawk 1. He brings up a good point. I think this year name recognition is good the first or 2 years. I agree with you. Listen. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people have complained about Colin Kaepernick, but listen, if in my opinion, if Cap wanted to get back into the NFL, this would be the way to do it. Go to the XFL. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Depends on what the question is. The question is I don't even remember what the question is. Oh, here it's Arlington says, "My bad, bro. Here I come." So he's going to be joining us here soon. Lois's Leo's wife has a Lindsey jersey. So with everything, like I said, this player race is starting to mount up. Listen, Jared, I'm going to go back to the thing at the hand. The South is completely wide open.
I never expected this. I thought it was going to be DC and Houston, and that's it. I thought it was just those two going to commence in the championship, and that was it. But you got the race for second. It's like even first could be up for grabs if things go the way of the race or whatever. So.
Right. In the North, it's a little more complicated. It's a little more math. Yeah. We all know how Dirty's math is, so we're not going to get into Dirty's math because we all know how Dirty's math is.
Seattle and St. Louis need to focus on those guys. Like don't look at DC.
Right.
So get to that second.
So basically for St. Louis needs to win the next 4 games. Okay. Yeah. Seattle can at least go 3-1. They can go 3-1, and God forbid, let's say that they beat the Battlehawks, right? They go 3-1 because they beat the Battlehawks, and then they win all of their games by 5 or more points. Now, if they win out the rest of their 4 games and win more by 5 points, then they'll be good. And let's say DC, but I mean, listen, Orlando threw a monkey wrench into everything. Wrench into everything.
It's the biggest shocking XFL win in history that I can recall. An 0-6 beating a 6-0 never really happens. So
right, exactly. So let's say that, Orlando could play spoiler against St. Louis.
Yeah, totally. They're the last remaining game of the season.
So if you guys don't want Orlando to play spoiler to us, Coach Beck had put up saying, "Hey, look," and a lot of people are saying this. Houston is full on in the Wade Phillips late season slide, and that very well could be true. Could be true.
Losing your number 1 wide receiver doesn't help anything. I thought they'd have more depth at wide receiver because they have some good wide receivers.
Very good.
Burnett's fantastic. He could be a number 1 on another team. So I'm just surprised they haven't picked it up or you haven't had some wins.
Yeah, and I know that and I know, Jared, you're not a fan of Lynch, but you got to admit, I think Lynch might be the best pickup for San Antonio.
There's some glimpses of hope from him. So it's not like he's abysmal. He's not Tim Tebow where he's running it 50 times and only throws it twice. I think he was decent the times I've seen him. just needs to throw it faster. Is my only.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that for sure. Yeah. I think that Paxton Lynch, with the 2 quarterbacks they have now, I think Paxton Lynch gives them the best chance of maybe pulling out some more games. So, I mean, again, like I said, you got the Renegades and Arlington going up against each other. The way the Renegades are playing, and Jarrett, you've heard me say it. You heard me say it because you've been a big supporter in 2020, well, big supporter of ours way back in 2019, 2020, right?
Yeah.
I'd always said with the coaching staff the Battlehawks have, they were going to go 5-5, right?
Yeah.
The Renegades have that coaching staff. It's not the same head coach, but they have the majority of that coaching staff. And it's exactly how I said it was going to play out in 2020.
For
what the Renegades are doing now.
For the second time, 2020, I expected him to do big things with Bob Stoops, and he's not doing it again a second time around. I was expecting, and like we thought with that team depth chart, that just on paper they were going to be successful, and I was wrong. So they're not as good as I thought they were going to be. So
right. In the way, 3 home games for the Brahmas. We need to show up big time. 2-0 at home sucks. You're absolutely right, Robert. It absolutely does. But I think, and you guys have all know who is my second favorite fan base in the XFL next to that fan base. That is my second favorite team in the XFL. This team has my favorite player.
I hate those jerseys for Seattle, but yeah.
I love the jerseys. I love this orange. I love this orange.
That's like Denver Bronco orange.
I could care less about the Denver Broncos. I am worried about that. I like the Denver Broncos. I like the Denver Bronco orange. I like the fire-breathing orange. They got my favorite player. That's my favorite team. That's my second favorite fan base. Oh, look who finally decided.
I like the Brahmas fan base.
Show up. I love the Brahmas fan base, right?
They came to Orlando. They were good.
Right, yeah. So, we're sitting here and we're looking at Arlington. We're talking about the player race coming into the XFL. Yes, the Orange Crush. I love it. But let's call the Seattle Sea Dragons Fire Orange. Fire Orange instead of Orange Crush. Now, why did he just take us all off the screen?
A-Train's the star of the show.
What is he doing? What are you doing? Why are you moving things around, pal? What is he doing? All right, here we go. Phil says Brahmas with Lynch shocked everyone with 5 straight wins to make it. Listen, I could very well see that. Because I could see the Brahmas beating Houston by the way Houston has played. I didn't say I like Denver. I just like that Denver orange. I didn't say I like Denver, you idiot. And then this is what it is. The Brahmas fan base travels. I love it. Yeah, he's not taking over because he just disappeared again, but that's okay. So I mean, Jared, do you see Brahmas beating the Roughnecks? I very well see it. I can see
it's a possibility. It's a possibility, but Houston, I can't give up on them. They were so dominant the first 4 games, but they're going off a cliff right now. So they're on extreme alert right now. So that's scary for them.
Well, it's like Daddy Ed had said on the B-Hawk Live show. And the mayor has said it 100 times on this show. Me and Arlington, everybody has said it, right? That injuries will dictate what happens to a team. And we're seeing it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Injuries and turnovers.
I have an example. The Broncos one year, like 2008, they were 6-0, and they didn't even make the NFL playoffs. They lost like so many, like the second half of the season. So those losing streaks can happen out of nowhere. So
and look, I mean, I know the good doctor says Paxton Lynch, LOL, but listen, it's spring football. It's something different, right? I mean, Brian, I absolutely agree with you. The Brahmas are doing everything they can to turn it around. I agree with you, right? Ballhog One says Battlehawks aren't pushovers, so don't take too much from Houston. You're absolutely right. And then Robert says if the Guardians can beat the Defenders, anything is possible. You're absolutely right.
That's true.
I mean, as much as I hate to say it, with the way Orlando is playing, and if Dormady keeps playing the way he's played in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Listen, We could say what we want. We could say what we want, that the Brahmas offense is terrible, right? It's not the best, but that defense is nothing to laugh at. That's a good defense. Like Phil says that happened to the Steelers a few years ago, 7-0, and I believe nothing in the back half of the season. You're absolutely right. So the Guardians could definitely play. Are you good now? All right, put your headphones in.
Yeah, big time spoiler. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then they can move right up into second place.
It's so weird because everyone, and I probably was one of them, but everyone was counting out the Orlando Guardians. They were an easy win. I did see the improvement each week, which was nice to see. It wasn't a complete blowout every single week, except for the Houston game for sure. But to almost win they should have won against the Renegades, losing by 1. They should have beat the, Vipers. They lost by 3. So they missed their opportunities, but hopefully they can end it on a good note the season. So,
yeah, Arlington, we're talking about the players' race, right? That is come, right? Kind of changes the whole complexion of these last
3 weeks.
3 weeks of the XFL, does it not?
Absolutely. And I want to go out on a limb and say to everyone, AJ McCarron will be XFL MVP when the season's over.
Yeah, he's not flawless, but yeah. He's doing really good against the Vipers.
It's not even being about being flawless. It's about being smart. And the last 2 weeks, and this is to mess with that person right there because he already knows that I know who he's gonna pick, but AJ is the MVP of this league. He knows it. He knows it.
You guys know who I'm gonna pick. You guys know who I'm gonna pick, right?
Yeah, we already know.
All right, who is it? Tell me.
Say the news.
What about another player besides the QB being the Abram Smith could be something?
You really picking Abram Smith?
I'm picking Abram Smith.
Hey, all right. And I'm glad you said that.
Hold on. Then offensive player of the year, Danucci.
With 1 or 2 interceptions a game.
Listen. I already knew that you were going to say Nucci at some point, right? And you probably said Nucci at the beginning of the show before I even came on.
I did.
So, but here's my thing: Abram Smith has the opportunity, folks, to become the first running back to have 1,000 yards in modern spring football. Now it's like, okay, we ain't talking about USFL from the 80s. We're not talking about the NFL Europe. We're talking about modern day spring football between 2001 and here. So, and the record right now is being held probably like by John Abram. He had 800 in the XFL back in 2001.
Okay.
But listen, hey, but for real though, there's an opportunity for Abram Smith to do something that's pretty unprecedented in a 10-game season, is get to 1,000 yards because of the talent that is on his team and you got the offensive line and he's averaging 100 yards. Right. He's not. I don't think he's gonna pick him. No.
Oh, and here's our lovely co-host Amanda.
But no, I really it will be between those two guys. But my pick is AJ McCarron.
So speaking of that, here is the thing, Arlington. We had one player last year in the USFL throw for over 2,000 yards, right?
What you mean?
In the USFL, we had one player throw for over 2,000 yards in a season, right?
Okay.
And it just happens to be this guy right here, Jordan Ta'amu, right?
Yeah. He wasn't so good with the Bandits, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
But he still threw for over 2,000 yards.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
But now let's really think of this.
Wait, hold on. This is for Phil. You should love it. You should love this very much so.
Mm-hmm. So now let's think about this. You talk about a guy who can rush for 1,000 yards in a 10-game season. We could very well easily have two guys pass and break Jordan's record for spring football passing yards in AJ McCarron, and my man, the Noocher baby, go for over 2,000 yards. So, look, to say that spring football has failed and it is failing, it's showing that it's not. With these guys, like Philip Lindsay wanting to get film tape on board, right? All these other guys coming out of the woodwork. You could go on Facebook right now and Twitter and just see all of the players wanting. Yeah, what Bama Strong is built for you, it means you're weak and you can only win national championships. But anyways,
Nick Saban's a legend.
Yeah,
So.
That's it. Who cares if the Nooch throws another interception? Doesn't matter. The Nooch is still the man, right? But anyways, he is the brand. The Nooch has built his brand. But with all, you go Twitter, go Facebook, you can see all the players wanting to get on tapes, right? Wanting to get more tape time in, right? They're doing it. And the XFL and then the USFL is giving it to them. Arlington, like I know me and you had talked, after the season ends, we're going to do a show where we're going to start at the beginning of the season and see what players are on rosters and then what players got cut and where they went to and stuff like that. That's going to be like a season in review thing, right?
Yeah,
So,
cool.
yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how these next 3 weeks play out. And with the OTAs and everything around the corner, this is a good opportunity for players to get more film tape.
Right.
Down.
That's kind of the point of what the XFL is supposed to be for these players. That's what the Player 54 thing is all about.
I'm surprised they're acquiring these like Philip Lindsay just all of a sudden, out of nowhere when they have those showcase players, that they did they did the combine kind of skills test. They could have brought them in possibly, or like the quarterbacks, like I told you, just move the quarterbacks around that have, like we had 4 quarterbacks on the Guardians, just switch around those, into other teams to give them an opportunity if they haven't, like Quinton Flowers, for example, he's only had a number of snaps so far. He could go somewhere that can utilize them.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So it's very interesting to see how this is all going to play out. And this week here, week 8, is going to be,
Yeah, how much you want to bet?
You guys are all idiots. You're all idiots.
But
Dirty can bash these people when Ben DiNucci's in the championship.
You really thinking that that's what's gonna happen, right? You really think that Nucci's gonna be in the championship game, huh?
Listen, dude, with Philip Lindsay, to me, the team to beat right now with Philip Lindsay, the way DiNucci's playing, the way all of those guys are playing, Seattle seems to be the team to beat. Everything.
It reminds me of Bo Scarborough going to the Stallions like mid-season in the USFL, and then that just boosted them up even more. They were already favorites. So
listen. Hold on. So I have something I want you guys.
But how can you even say that? Like in right now he has 4 touchdowns and an interception. That's not Tony Banks' numbers.
Right. So let's look at this because, we were talking about players. I'm just going to go with the quarterbacks. All right. So, the assigned quarterbacks that we had, well, is Juwan past San Antonio. He's still there, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. D'Eriq King.
Yeah, he's still there.
But he's not a starter. He wasn't a starter.
No.
These were the projected starters of these teams. Okay.
Okay.
D'Eriq King isn't the starter. That's Jordan Ta'amu. Brandon Silvers lost his starting job to Cole McDonald.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, okay. Steven Montez.
Okay.
He's there, but he lost. Who's the starter?
Okay. Keep going, dude.
McLennan with Vegas. He's just now finally getting his first start.
Yeah.
Drew
Brett
Plitt.
Hundley. Yeah. Brett Hundley and Luis Perez were Vegas, basically.
Yeah. So then you have Drew Plitt in Arlington. He's not there anymore.
No, Drew Plitt's still there.
He's there, but he's not the starter because he's injured. Okay. Yeah. Then you had the crybaby who took his ball and went home, and Ryan Willis.
Wow.
Kyle Sloter, he was
really?
Just saying. And then you had Francois in Orlando. Has he even gotten a start yet? No.
He got a few snaps in, and that's
Snaps.
about
Got a
it.
few snaps in.
Second, he's second fiddle.
Yeah, exactly, Leo. I mean, let's really look. DiNucci was still assigned, but he wasn't really considered the starter. It was more Montez.
But you remember what Coach Beck said. They said they were going to fight for those jobs.
That's what Coach Beck said. It didn't mean that's what the other teams were going to do. That was just here in St. Louis. We didn't know what the other teams were going to do, right?
Right.
So I'm just bringing out the point is these were the most notable names that everybody from News Hub to Newsroom to all of the pages, right? We're saying these were going to be the starters. They projected these guys at the starters. There's only one guy on that list, two guys on that list that were the actual starters from their list. Brandon Silvers and Drew Plitt.
There was battles in training camp between two or so QBs, and they didn't have an answer until
Phil,
week one.
I just said that. Plitt is injured, and Silvers is injured. Just saying, out of the list of the projected starters, those 8 guys that I named was what the News Hub and Newsroom and all of those guys say. They were the ones, and nothing against all of those guys. At that time, that might have been the way it leaned. But
Guardians had Francois and Dormady, and then Paxton Lynch came out of nowhere, and then he got the first week start, if I'm not mistaken.
So right here, so the good doctor says, they said The Rock and Danny and Redbird said that season 2 is coming, but what will they do to try to increase attendance? Marketing. Start doing marketing.
Yeah.
Start working as much as you look. I don't care if you work with this show at all, but start working with some of these other these local things. Start going into the local markets and work with them. Work with the guys down in San Antonio with the Smoking Gun podcast and what they've done.
Radio ads would be nice.
Radio ads would be good.
Yeah.
It says, what's worse than assigned quarterbacks? Assigned coaching staff. You absolutely got it. The good doctor says, I know a guy looking for a marketing job.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like the indoor football league. I think
right
they
here,
do a great job too.
You think they will leave everybody's roster static into season 2? Or
this
do you think
is mostly that's for like week 10 kind of questions, man. You guys, this is week 8.
People are impatient.
Oh, thank you, Amanda. Amanda says that the X Fan show has predicted all good things too. A lot of what Dirty and A-Train have said has been correct. Well,
I got a piece of paper of Dirty's predictions at the start of the year. So we'll see how accurate.
What? Get out of here, man.
Hold on. Because I'm getting ready. I do got some things that I have to do. So I said this was going to be an abbreviated show. Go find it, Jared. I want to just read. I want to read a couple. Let's read a couple.
No, man. No. That's not stroke his ego today, man.
No. Let's see. Because I'm always right. I'm always right.
Hey, remove that for right now. Remove the picture for right now. No, seriously, remove the picture for right now.
I did.
Why he's going to get it.
No, pass doesn't start because he went to dirty school. Probably true. You're absolutely right, Robert. He probably went. But it's interesting now that you're starting to see these players, Arlington. So for me, this is really going to be the tying the big thing of the season. Week 8, week 9 are going to be good for this season. Like I said, the entire South is still up in the air, and you got all 4 of the teams playing against each other with the Renegades, Renegades and Orlando playing in Orlando. I honestly think Orlando could beat them because of the way they are.
There's potentially so much chaos that can happen just in week 8 alone. Like, I've been asking for some chaos in this league, and we might get it.
And you got it.
This next, especially coming up in these next 3 weeks, right? And like the South is still open. Hey, as much as San Antonio is in a mess right now, they still could overtake Houston.
So
this upcoming matchup.
You look at it, okay? So when they played in week 3 in Houston, right? It was 22-13.
One score game.
In the XFL, that's a one possession game. 22-13, right? This is the X Fan Show. We are the video cast that X out all podcast.
But go ahead.
So now you're going into San Antonio, and we were in San Antonio. San Antonio is loud. Okay? The way that the Roughnecks have been playing, I could very easily see San Antonio beating them. And then that's really going to throw things into an uproar. Because now you have the two worst teams have just jumped up dramatically.
Now, I know it sounds crazy because a lot of people don't like him, but Paxton Lynch has not done a bad job in the XFL. It's just that the way Orlando was looking for, they were looking for what Quentin Dormady is doing right now these last 3 weeks.
And you know what, though? Maybe Paxton Lynch didn't fit Terrell Buckley's system.
Right.
You know, you're still talking, these are rookie head coaches. Maybe he didn't fit that system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Luis Perez and Brunt Hundley didn't fit Rod Woodson's system, right? Maybe Drew Plitt and them didn't fit the Renegades. So it's really about a quarterback fitting systems. Arlington, we've talked about that. There are a lot of good quarterbacks that are out there that go into the NFL, but that never really get a shot or come out of, well, I mean, he has in the last 2 games.
Or unless, and can we make Shane Matthews the offensive coordinator? Like, for God's sakes, like I ain't heard nothing about no Robert Ford all year long, and the guy that's been calling plays for his quarterbacks has been Shane Matthews. So can we consider him to be offensive coordinator?
Yeah, right. Exactly, Robert. Just like I said, 23-13, and Houston had a good goal line stand. You're absolutely right. I mean, yeah, look, AJ fits the Battlehawk system. Jordan Ta'amu fits Jordan and De'Aaron King fit the DC Defenders running system. Ben DiNucci fits the Seattle's run and go, run and shoot system. Okay? Again, Arlington, you know, I mean, yeah, a good quarterback should be able to get into any system and play well. I agree with that. But again, I'm looking at it this way. Like, you could say what you want about Tebow. Dude was a national championship, won 2 national champions, got into the NFL, and couldn't fit into a system. Same thing with A.J. McCarron. A.J. McCarron was a great college football player, won 2 national championships in Alabama, got into the NFL, and really couldn't fit into a NFL system. That's what I'm saying. So certain quarterbacks are built differently than other quarterbacks. Some can do it. Some can make the transition to different systems. Like, to me, I mean, you're right. Who fits it? You know who would fit a team like this? A mobile quarterback like De'Aaron King, possibly. A Tim Tebow. Jordan Ta'amu would fit into an offensive line with no blocking. A mobile quarterback would do it. Again, I'm saying.
No, you're just answering your question.
Yeah, look, in my opinion, you need to take Lamar Jackson's name out of there because Lamar Jackson is a one-dimensional quarterback. That's running. That's all he is.
We're not starting that argument here.
Now, Michael Vick was a total package.
We're not starting that argument here.
We've already had that argument. We both know how each of us feel. You're Vick or Jackson. Who you take?
Man, I'm not saying anything.
Answer the question.
I bet you I won't.
Answer the question. Vick.
Mike Tackett says, with the spark of new names coming along, Lindsey Swearinger, Kurt Banker, does that equate to more viewership? Also, why the surge of signing so late in the season?
So here's what I'll say. I think it will for certain games, especially for the Seattle game.
Because we're at a place now where no NCAA, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you got to worry about, and even now, the NBA is going to be doing like the little play-in and stuff, so you don't even have to worry about that either. There should be a lot of opportunity for viewership to go up a bit because you're not competing against March Madness, and you're not competing against. You're going to just be against what? Hockey. Hockey's barely getting 1 million viewers themselves.
All right, here's Jarrett. He's back. And hold on, Jarrett. The other reason why the surge of late signings in the season, OTAs are just around the corner, guys.
And they got to fill gaps. You have to fill gaps
fill
on
gaps.
these certain teams now.
So it's a lot of different things. It's injuries, OTA starting for the NFL. The XFL said we want to be the XFL's or the NFL's feeding system. So there you go. All right, Jarrett. So let's do this. You said you have my predictions written down, right? My speculations. Okay.
Yeah. There's some good and there's some bad.
Well, listen, I've said a lot of stuff on this show.
Way. Yeah.
I don't know what I've said, but Jared, I'm going to ask a question to you. You have a quarterback to pick: Lamar Jackson or Michael Vick.
Do not pick it. Do not pick
Jared.
it.
Don't listen to Arlington.
Do not pick it.
Who you picking?
Say next.
Michael Vick.
Thank you. That's all I got to say.
He was the pioneer of running. Well, no, Randall Cunningham was pretty darn good, but Michael Vick was awesome before, when he had his $100 million contract, like 2004 or something like that. He was killing it, and everybody wanted Michael Vick on Madden and on the PS2. So he was amazing. So yeah.
All right, Arlington. So how many of these should we do? Because I want Jarrett. Jarrett, how many of the list do you have on there? How many?
I just have Dirty's list. That's all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How many are on this list?
Get the best one. Two. Get two of the best ones. That's it.
It's easy. You got
But how many's on the list? How many's on the list?
We got 3 predictions basically. Like we got the two teams that are on the one side north and 2 teams that are on the south, and who was last place, and a team that might only have 1 win this season. That's basically it. It's pretty fast.
Okay. All right, so let's go with the one I got right and the one that apparently I got wrong because I haven't gotten anything wrong.
Okay, the one that's definitely right is Orlando with 1 win. Let's hope they don't win anymore. Yeah, you said 1-1.
You said 0-10.
But I did. I said Orlando will only get 1 win, but then I did say as the season went on they would go 0-10.
0-10, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. We'll save the crazy one for last. Houston and Arlington were your choices for playoffs. For the South.
Still open right now.
Still open.
And then Seattle and Las Vegas on the other side, the North, which is Las Vegas is definitely out.
Yeah, that one was a bad one.
Completely.
That was a bad one.
Yeah. Rod Woodson, I expected more from him a little bit.
All right, what's the craziest one?
It's the final one. St. Louis is going to be last place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you did say that.
Yeah, I remember that.
You meant it.
You're just trolling.
Right. That's all he was doing. That's all he was doing. They're still going
to end up being last. The season ain't over. They're still going to end up being last place. Sticking to it. All right.
Hey, yes. it was fun, man.
Answer the question. Yeah. Until you answer the question, you are not coming back on. Vic or Jackson?
Who are you talking to?
You're talking A-Train, aren't you? Because I've already said mine.
I feel says these players realize this version of the XFL isn't likely to tank and actually will make a full season. Yeah, sure will, man.
Oh, so hey, I do have to do something. So, I've been working on something. Arlington, I'll fill you in later. The guy just called me, so this is why I said I have to go. This is XFL related, so I need to take this phone call. Jarrett, can you fill in for me?
Yeah, I got a couple of things I can talk about. Yeah, sure.
Arlington, I love you. I will call you after I make this phone call and after the show. Everybody, this is Dirty. I got to take this phone call.
Is that Ball Hawk? Ball Hawk, I missed you. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Right, later.
Sayonara, sir. Leave, sir. Thank you.
The show runs better.
And I ain't gotta answer his stupid question either. Hey, Ball Hawk, I was looking for you in Houston. He was there, man, and I missed you.
I've seen a lot of his pictures and stuff.
Yes, he's getting a lot of great attention, and that's the thing. Nice. If you can, folks, follow X-Fan Legion on Twitter. We want to make sure we get as many fan shots and stuff that you've been at these XFL games, so that way we can post them and you can post them through, and you can tag X-Fan Legion. So any games that you've been to all year, if you're on Twitter, make sure you go to X-Fan Legion, and we'll make sure that we get that growing as we get into the final 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, anything can happen. I'm going to the Renegades this week, my second game this time, so we'll see how that goes. I did that one. I should have did DC. I really should have, but Renegades I thought were going to be better this year, and I'm still going regardless.
Hey, if there's one thing Dirty said was correct, was going to be the Renegades was going to be mid. They were going to be in the middle of the pack because they played so much like their 2020 counterparts with the Battlehawks, and that's what made them. I don't like. How can you even take them serious? And I was really expecting San Antonio to come out on fire, but injuries have hurt them all season long.
Is out, so
they've hurt them all season long. And with the Guardians, I just did not. When they had, they got Paxton Lynch to start. I didn't think that they were going to be really any good, but they finally found their quarterback in Quentin Dormady, and they still have a shot going in to the final 3 weeks of the season, which is amazing. They still can get at least a second playoff spot because Houston owns the tiebreaker between. Let's just say that both teams, all the teams end up 4-6. Houston and Orlando. Houston will still win the division.
I want the Orlando Guardians to be better on pass defense, because when I watched them in person against San Antonio Brahmas, they were getting lit up like crazy with their wide receivers for the Brahmas. So I just hope the corners and the safeties can improve and not give up big plays like to Blair for the DC Defenders, who had he had an 86-yard reception against the Guardians and stuff like that. So stop giving up the big plays. You're not going to win too many games giving up 36 points. So
it was a rough game. It was a rough game for both teams, especially on defense. And it showed a lot of it showed them getting exposed with DC. Yeah. They gave up 37 points. So they let you know that this team is beatable. And as much as we would love to see an undefeated season with them, with any team, the fact that the matter is they do have something that they can be exposed on. And Seattle has a big game this weekend. And that closes the week. That closes week 8. And that's a great spot to be in for XFL fans. This is a great game to check out, especially on ESPN2. And a lot of people was like, well, why not ESPN? Well, ESPN is dedicated to Sunday Night Baseball. So putting them on the second network would be pretty good. And and with the signing of Nick Holley, hopefully he could be an impact player to help lift those Brahmas over the Roughnecks.
Yeah,
then Lynch takes out the Guardians out of playoff contention the following week. That'll be something.
The Brahmas have a good wide receiving core, I thought. So I think they're still good. Or TJ Vasher, I don't know if he's out or not, but he's really, I like him quite a bit. So they're tall, lengthy, skinny wide receivers. So they do a good job. They tore up the Guardians when I seen them. So
yeah, no doubt about it. As we wrapping up. See,
we should bring up San Antonio championship tickets are available now, or at least if you're a part of the huddle.
If you have received your emails, because I just certainly I did mine. Mine come in later than others. So
season tickets. I'm not a season ticket holder, so I had to hold off and thankfully I'm a part of the huddle, so I was able to get in and purchase.
Right.
Them.
And the pre-sale code has gone out, and they're, from the looks of things, it's looking like they're going to sell out for that particular game.
I'm concerned. When I first went to Ticketmaster, I'm like, dang, there isn't much available. Or from what I for me, anyways. I wanted I was trying to be a cheapskate and get a $35 ticket, but there's a lot sold already. So get your tickets while you can, because when they go up to open, in public, I don't know what's gonna happen. So
right, get them now because they're going fast. And honestly, I really do believe they should open up the dome as in full.
Yeah.
They should go ahead and open up the dome in full. But they're going to wait first to see how well the lower bowl does. And if the lower bowl does exceeding well, they'll open it up. So this is an opportunity where fans, if you want to get to San Antonio May 13th, this is a great opportunity to check in, get your tickets, and they're doing well so far. And then if it exceeds, and of course they'll open, in my opinion, should open it up and get at least 40,000 in there.
That would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
get at least 40,000 in that San Antonio area. And I mean, getting a chance to actually go in the Alamo Dome for the first time in week 1, it was an amazing experience. You know, I'd missed my opportunity to go to the Dome at America Center in St. Louis, but it kind of had the same vibe, and that's kind of what I was looking for.
I like a
So
dome
you can't
setting.
see them. You can't see them opening up the top section. Come on, man. I mean, this is an opportunity where it could be really massive, and you know, it'll be a special time because it'll be for. I know it's going to be for the 2 teams that faced off in, you know, for the championship, but it should be for all XFL fans. Be one big XFL party. Like you need to make that an XFL weekend. XFL, like that needs to be a huge day. Like set some stuff up for the day before or that weekend. Like, I know it may not seem nothing, but that'll be perfect because you're going to bring in a lot of fans into San Antonio. They get a chance to see everything out there, the culture, and, you know, get to experience some great food. This is an opportunity where you can make a big XFL weekend out of it. I know you try to just do the one game and get it out the way, but I think it'd be perfect if you did an extra day or so to kind of build up for that.
I have a feeling they're going to have some special events or something lined up. I really hope so. So that they, you know, for like Friday before like a day before the game or something like that. They were asking in the survey of the huddle what you'd like to see for the championship. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward. I just want to meet a lot of the people I've seen on YouTube, like you guys yourself, in person. You know, Reed, XFL Jim, and Mark Perry. He says he's going to be at the championship as well. So just to meet the people in person that we've talked over the years, that's a reason why I'm going as well. So,
all right, real quick before we go, let's see. I'm gonna do a little quick picking, and Jared, you can help me out for Vegas and St. Louis. Who you got for that?
St. Louis, it has to be.
I'm gonna pick St. Louis, but it's gonna be a tough one because I know everybody's looking at Vegas like just because they're 2-5 or they're out doesn't mean that they're going to sit back and just sit on their hands. They're gonna try and play spoiler and try to keep St. Louis from getting any chance of getting into the playoffs. To say, hey, if we can't beat them, you're gonna have to join us. Not being in the playoffs.
Yeah, Rod Woodson is not gonna put up with losing again and again. Like he you know, he has some discipline, you know, so I hope they can win against the St. Louis Battlehawks. But I don't see it happening.
All right, we got Renegades in Orlando. I'm choosing Orlando for this matchup. I think they being on a high and they're still at home. And so I think that Quinn Dormity's going to have another great game against the Renegades. I know you got to deal with Donald Payne for the Renegades, but in the end, I think Arlington's offensive firepower is going to knock off Arlington, and they're going to get their second win of the season. What you think?
Yeah, I think Orlando's going to get this win is what I'm thinking. Since I've seen them against the Brahmas, I hope they've changed for the better, the Orlando Guardians this time around. It looks like they've improved each week, and I hope to see a Orlando Guardians win is what I'm expecting, and I hope it goes through.
Roughnecks and Brahmas, I'm going to select Houston for the simple fact of, even though that they don't have and it's been Jonte Kirkland. Like, a lot of people haven't really realized for Houston that losing Jonte Kirkland has hurt this offense and couldn't get past a couple of their North opponents, because they're going to have to play a North opponent if they're going to win the division and their semifinal game. I got Houston over San Antonio, and it'll knock them out of playoff contention. I don't think it would matter who's the quarterback in this case. I know Coleman Down did not have a great game this past week against the Battlehawks, but I think he'll go over some of the mistakes that he had. And granted, he is going to be playing in hostile territory, and he'll overcome those mistakes, and they'll get the win this week against San Antonio.
I'm going to say Houston wins. I think they got too much available. Like, you got Max Borghi and the other running back, I don't know his name, but he's really good too. They're very shifty, and they can run really fast. And then I still think you guys have wide receivers, good wide receivers. I like Ben Putnam. I think he's good. So you got Burnett as well. So I'm saying Houston still has lots of energy left to win, especially to win this game against the Brahmas. The Brahmas have been disappointing. I thought they had a good first start. I thought like a first beginning of the season, and they've kind of gone down, unfortunately.
A lot of injuries have hurt them so far, and they keep hitting them. And it's like right now they've been the unluckiest team over the Orlando Guardians. And it's going to be interesting to see how well those two teams can match up when we get down, because it'll be on Easter Sunday, and that'll be the first game at 3 Eastern, 12 in the West. All right, and then the final game, which is pretty much the game of the week, and it could be game of the year, surpassing DC or Orlando, is DC and Seattle. Now, the XFL fan in me wants Seattle to win this game this week, just to see more chaos go down in the XFL if the Battlehawks do win against Vegas. Now, it wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter if win or lose, if they win or lose at this point. But I'm looking forward to seeing two good offenses and, believe it or not, two good defenses both going at each other. There's a reason why this is the game of the week, and it'll be at 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2. I'm going to select like I said, the fan of me is in Seattle, but if I look realistically, I'm looking at DC. How are you going to stop Abram Smith and the deception they have with offense? That's going to be the key. Granted, now that the defense may be a little bit shaky after their performance against the Guardians. So I'm going to be interested to see how that plays out. It is in Seattle. I know the mayor's not going to be happy with my pick, but I'm choosing DC over Seattle.
I'm going to say DC. Lucky Jackson, really like him. Abram Smith has been doing 100, 200-yard games each week. He's to me, he's the MVP. If you're going to be able to if you don't pick a quarterback easily. I say DC over. I think Ben DiNucci throws INTs like he always does each week, and at some point he's going to get those interceptions are going to come back to haunt him. So don't freaking. You can be smiling right now, winning with these interceptions, but they're coming back to haunt you at some point, buddy. As much as I don't mind Ben DiNucci, but don't overlook those INTs. So limit your INTs. Play cleaner if you can, or make better decisions. And but I say DC wins this one. I like Blair as well for DC as well.
All right, Jared, thank you so much, man, for hopping on with us.
Thank you.
And
I'll see you later.
Thank you for filling in for me, man, and coming because I was sure forgot about it. But it's all good.
Thursdays are great. Thank you guys for having me on. I'll see you again.
No problem, Jared. Thanks, man. Jared
Bye-bye.
Hansen, ladies and gentlemen. And gonna wrap this bad boy up. Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of the X-Fan Show. Hey, we'll be back on Tuesday, wrapping up week 8, getting ready for week 9. And then, hey, the Rough 'em Up podcast is dropping today, dropping later this afternoon, probably around 2, 3 o'clock. So make sure you check it out on YouTube. Myself and my man Cullen Watkins, we getting it in, talking everything Houston Roughnecks. Okay, all right. Great weekend. Happy Easter to everyone, those that celebrate, and we'll catch you for another edition of the X-Fan Show right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.